I bought my office in 2003 and I absolutely loved it. I loved the village, I loved the customers. And then the post office installed an ATM machine. And that was when it all went wrong. It wasn't just 9,000. The first problem was them telling me that I'd put 2,000 into the ATM machine. And when I knew I'd only put £1,000 in. So I had to pay that. And there were several discrepancies. The gentleman that owned the pub in the village, a regular customer, he paid in over £500 one day, came back the next day and said it wasn't in his account. So I had to put that in. And by the time we'd been putting so much in, my husband had to take out £10,000 from his pension pot. So I resigned in 2009 after a Fujitsu engineer came to my office to replace the hard drive yet again. And he was on his last day working for them. And he said, "You can't quote me on this, but they've known all along. They know it loses transactions." And I talked to my husband that evening about it and I said, "This is bigger than me. I can't fight this because I can't prove anything." So I resigned that night, but it took 3 months for the village to find another postmaster. And when I came home to Warwick, both my parents were dying. The post office was still chasing me for that £9,000 you mentioned. And then one morning, and they tell you you're the only one that's having problems, but of course I knew differently from the Fujitsu engineer. And I was getting letters every month to demand this £9,000. And then I saw Lord Arbuthnot on breakfast TV. And I realised there was a group. So I joined the JFSA and all credit to Alan Bates. Without him, we wouldn't have got anywhere. And the same with Nick with his book. He's been persistent from the start. We couldn't have done without them.
Janet, did you get anything back? Did you get any of the money that you've lost back, or did you get anything?
No,
nothing.
No.
So what are you fighting for?
I lost my home, my business. I had to sell the goodwill of the post office for £1 because I wasn't allowed to give it away. Apparently it was worth £10,000, the goodwill, but that's what the post office said. But the gentleman that took it on, he was selling up in a year. So he says, "I don't care, it'll add value to my business." So that's what I did. I left the village, came back home. I joined the JFSA. And after I'd been down to the Citizens' Advice with all my paperwork that I had, they said, "Copy it, send it to the post office and see what happens." And I did that. I didn't hear anything for 6 months. And I thought, this is strange. So I rung them up. It was Womble Dickinson, the post office solicitors. And she said, "Well, we've decided not to pursue you for this."
That's unbelievable,
and I said,
isn't it?
"Why? And can you put it in writing?" They never did. She couldn't give me a reason why. So I thought to myself, well, you know then.
Mm. Well,
and also,
I mean, look,
I'd like to know, I know Mr. Scully's got a job on his hands with all this, but why have the government just paid £1.6 million to a solicitor's firm, given them the contract to 2023 to fight for the post office and the government ministers?